Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of The Five Bloods. Five Bloods is the latest Spike Lee joint that follows four Vietnam veterans as they return to Vietnam in search of gold that was left behind, as well as the remains of their fallen friend from the war. Now, war films, not really my thing. We've had plenty on the Vietnam War at this point. However, getting Spike Lee's take seemed like a really promising prospect right from the jump. Plus, we haven't really gotten a Vietnam film from the black soldier, black veteran perspective. And honestly, we haven't really gotten many war films from history from a black American soldier perspective. And it's a heavy perspective that should really be explored more across the board. It should be talked more about in history itself, and nevertheless on the big screen. I was really excited to see what Spike Lee was bringing to the Vietnam War subgenre, as well as see what Spike Lee was bringing to Netflix. And honestly, a Spike Lee joint couldn't have come at a more appropriate time. And ultimately, I think The Five Bloods was a pretty great film. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, I mentioned that war movies aren't really my thing particularly. I do enjoy plenty of war films, but just at large for the genre, they don't touch me. However, this is certainly more of a character study of veterans who are having to reconcile with their past, reconcile with the country, brought them a lot of painful memories, and furthermore, reflect on how we haven't really come as far as we think in terms of the United States being a country that has hurt them. And as a character study, it was really compelling, particularly when it came to the character of Paul, who has probably the most demons to face out of any of them, who really exemplifies how we need to do better with our veterans, and particularly with our veterans of color and our black veterans particularly. But what I also really liked is that it was a lot more complex than initially it may have seemed. We really delve into the hurt and the animosity still lingering in Vietnam itself towards Americans, period, and how that community still is hurting and feeling the effects of this war, this pointless war, all of these years later. Of course, Spike Lee really does a great job of integrating the issues of the past and putting a mirror up to our faces and showing us how we're still dealing with those same racial issues here in the United States in 2020. But the script in the film that Spike Lee put together at large is just a really deep, interesting story about this group of soldiers that has so many more complexities to it about our current state. But I have to give credit to the acting cast because they are all pretty stellar. I mentioned Paul as a character earlier, and he is played masterfully by Delroy Lindo, who is amazing in this movie. Talk about a performance that takes an already complex and interesting character on the page and fully brings that person to life, realizing Paul to a T and keeping you so invested in this really messy, really complicated character. Clark Peters is probably the rock of this cast, as his character Otis is probably the rock of our characters. And he's wonderful. Just this really powerful presence amongst the rest. I thought he brought such a regal tone to the character while still maintaining that relatability to him. It was a great performance that's understated and I think will go a bit underappreciated, but is fantastic nonetheless. Isaiah Whitlock Jr. has a lot of the comedic effect in this film to great degree, and it works really well. He's wonderful. Norm Lewis caps off our four main characters here, and he is also really good, has some fun moments, but gets to really delve into some deeper topics himself. I'm so glad to see Jonathan Majors back in a main role like this. He's wonderful. Chadwick Boseman does a great job. Really, our entire cast delivers and brings a great sense of connection with these characters. As messy as it gets, there's still this underlying connection for them that's really fantastic. And I think Spike Lee takes us in some unexpected territory. We go down paths in this film that I did not expect, and some things happen with characters that I wasn't anticipating as well. And although it's certainly a character study as a film, you go on this wild yet really interesting ride. So what doesn't work so well when it comes to The Five Bloods? Well, I just praised it for some of the unexpected turns we take. However, I do think some of the bigger plot within the film is a little bit convoluted. It gets a little bit overly wild for me personally. I much more enjoyed just the interpersonal communications and the relationship between these men and these veterans, and really kind of diving into the issues of Black soldiers and Black veterans not getting the recognition, not getting the care, not getting the attention that they have long deserved. Some of the bigger story elements, while they spice up the film in terms of movement and in terms of maybe excitement for the runtime, and sometimes they got a bit much. Also, some of the editing is a bit choppy, particularly in the first half of the film. As we move forward, there are actually some amazing transitions that I loved, and of course, we get at least one hallway tracking shot from Spike Lee. But there's always just that little bit of rough edge when it comes to Spike Lee and his filmmaking style. It's certainly present here, and at the start, I think it's a little bit jarring, to be honest. But you ease into it, and as we progress through the film, it really just kind of takes off and becomes a positive. So overall, The Five Bloods is a really strong film that is uplifted, a historic tale that sheds light on past issues that still need to be talked about, while also, as I said, holding up a mirror to America to face the fact that many of these issues and problems are still sitting right here, and people are still having to fight for a lot of these same issues. So I think it's an extremely timely film that's of great quality. Spike Lee is certainly on a roll right now with bringing back some high quality joints to us, and The Five Bloods is more than a worthy addition to his catalog. So definitely, if you have a Netflix account, seek it out. It is more than worth the watch. So that is my review of The Five Bloods. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see The Five Bloods, or have you already watched it? If you have, what were your thoughts? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!